Okay, we are on to our next section, inscribed angles. So we've talked about central angles, and central angles are angles that go onto the arc and then touch in the center. But today we're going to do inscribed, and inscribed is where they touch somewhere on the circle, the vertex. So the very first part says an inscribed angle is an angle with its vertex on the circle. Again, it's right there, somewhere on the circle, with its two sides that are, what definition is that of these things going through here, these segments? They are chords, not chords. An intercepted arc is the arc that lies between the endpoints of an inscribed angle. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, because that's an important concept for today. The intercepted arc. So a lot of times we're going to draw these and we're going to extend it out so you can see that. And the intercepted arc is simply the area between where I extended out. So that area or that part of the arc is the intercepted arc, because the angle passes through there, intercepts the line there. Okay, and then the other big concept is the degree of the inscribed angle is equal to half the measure of its intercepted arc. Okay, so the next thing, and again, we go through these notes and then we start doing them, and then these notes are better actually after we do the problems as a good reference. Okay. So an intercepting a diameter, if an inscribed angle intercepts a diameter, then it is a right angle. So in this case, the measure of angle BAC is 90 degrees. So let's take just a quick second and talk about that. So I know that this is a half circle. Half circle's 180 degrees. Make that nice and bright for you so you can see that. That's 180 degrees. And the angle we're talking about is angle BAC, which is right here. So the thing we're going to talk about today is this is the big part of the circle and this angle is little. So I'm going, if I know that this is if I know that this is 180 degrees, that's the big part, I take half of that, and that's my angle. So here I knew the big part, I went to small. When you go big to small, you take half. Sometimes we're going to be going from small to big, and then we double it. So just keep that in mind. Okay. If two inscribed angles intercept at the same arc, then they are congruent. That's a pretty cool concept for this section. So the angle ABD, so if you look at angle ABD, there's ABD. Its intercepted arc is AD. That's the part where it intersects, so it's intercepted right there. And if you look, this angle right here, ACD, I have to use a different color. Let me use this. They share the same intercepted arc. So if they share the same intercepted arc, then they're equal to each other. So I now know that ABD is equal to ACD. Okay, so let's get ready. Let's try to start doing these questions. Again, these notes are better for reference once we get going. So here we go. This is how I do it. They want to find WXY, so they want this angle right here. And they give me the big arc, and I want the little arc. So if I'm going from big to small, I just take half. So half of 62 is 31 degrees. Okay, so the next one I've got, they want this arc DGF. They want that arc right there. And I know that this angle is 113. So I know the little part, and I'm going to the big part. So from little to big, you got to double it to get, see that little part to the big part. So when I double that, I get 226 degrees. That's the amount of that arc. Okay. So then they want PQR in this next one. They want this angle, PQR. So again, it's okay to kind of extend these out. So they want this angle. Well, I know that it intersects this half circle, and a half circle is 180 degrees. So I know the big part. I'm going to go back to the little part. So from big to little, I take half. So half of that is 90 degrees. And that was up in our notes, intercepting a diameter. Okay. Let's go to number 4. Number 4, they give me the small arc. So let's figure out this big arc. So to get that, I got to double it. So when I double 47, I get 94 degrees. But what they want to know is, they're asking, what is this arc right there? Okay. So let's just do some math. I know that this whole part from here all the way over is 180 degrees. So if the whole purple part's 180, it's hard to tell it's purple, but it is, and I subtract out the 94, whatever's left will be arc BC, and that's 86 degrees if you subtract it. Okay, so let's look here. They want angle JKL. So JKL, they want this angle. They want this angle right here. Okay. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to first find the intercepted arc, see how big that is. So to get that, I'm going to start with 360, and I'm going to subtract out these two arcs, 65 and 53. Again, you can add them and subtract from 360, same thing. And that gives me 242. 242 degrees. So that's that arc. Okay. So if I know that this arc right here is 242, the big arc, I'm going from big to little. So when I go from big to little, I take half. So my big arc's 242, so my little arc has to be half of that, which is 121 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to get into just one right now that has 2 inscribed angles, but we'll check it out. So they want angle RST. So the first thing they want, RST. Okay. And then it says RUT. Okay, so I'm going to make that a different color. RUT. And if you look, they both, no matter where they started, they both share this arc right here. They both share that intercepted arc. So what that means is that these two angles are going to be congruent. So whatever my answer is for the first angle, my answer is going to be the same for the second angle. So I'm going to put one arc mark in both of those because they're both the same value. So how do I get to that? Well, they give me all the arcs except for the red part. So you can start with 360, minus out 75, minus out 139, minus out 64. And when I subtract all that out, I get 82. Again, I've got that the big arc is 82 degrees, but I'm going from big to small. And when you go from the big arc to the small arc, you take half. So they're both going to be 41 degrees, both those angles. Okay. So now we get some algebra. We get some unknowns in there. There's multiple ways to do this. So I've got the little arc here. I've got the big arc here. Okay. So I cannot set these equal to each other because we've been talking about to go from here, the big one to the little one, I got to take half of it. Or to get from here to here, I got to double it. So you have two options. It really doesn't matter. But what I typically like to do is if I can take half of the arc, I'll do that. So I know if I'm going from big to small that that is 158. So I know that this angle right here has to be 79 degrees because 158 divided by 2, just double checking my math here, 158 divided by 2 is 79 degrees. So I know this angle right here is 79 degrees. So now I can say 8x minus 9 equals 79. Okay. I can set it equal to that arc. So I add my 9, I get 88. So 8x equals 88. Divided by 8. X is 11. Okay. That kind of looks like pi. Sorry about that. But it's 11. Alrighty. Let's keep going. The next one, it says solve for x. So again, I know this little guy right here is 67. So to get the big arc, I got to double it. So I got to do 67 times 2. 67 times 2. 67 times 2. 134. So I know that this arc is 134 degrees. So now I can set those two things equal to each other. So I got 4x plus 58 equals 134. I'm going to subtract 58 to both sides. Gives me 76. Divide by 4. Get 19. Okay. So that's the front page. Now to the back. I need some background music. Okay, here we go. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Might be helpful. It's got to be better. Okay, so it says solve for x on this one. Whoa, had that all perfect. Wah, wah. Okay, so it says solve for x, and I know that this right here, that is 180 degrees because it's a half circle. So if that's 180, that means this angle right here is 90 degrees. So I can do 13x minus 1 equals 90. And then solve for x. So I'm going to add my 1. Divide by 13. Gives me 7. So that's that one. All right, let's check the next one out here. So they want us again to solve for x. So this one's going to take a little bit more work. I need to know this arc right here so I know what to set that one equal to. I need to know that. So let's do some thinking here. They tell me that this arc is 78. They tell me that part's 78. And then they tell me this angle is 114. So if that angle is 114, that means this arc is double. Because remember when I go from small to big, I double it. So I'm going to make that light purple. It's kind of hard to see, but so if that's 114, this angle is 114, that means this arc is 228. So if I take those two arcs, subtract it from 360, that'll give me this arc that I really needed. And when I subtract that, I get 54. So that means this arc right here is 54 degrees. So if that arc's 54, this is the big part, I got to go back to the small part. So going big to small, I take half. So this has to be 27. Okay. So I got 7x plus 6 equals 27. So if I subtract my 6, I get 21. Divide by 3, or divide by 7, and x is 3. Okay. Hopefully you're getting the hang of these here. It's just a little problem solving, trying to figure out things. I automatically, when I look at this one, I see arc, no answer. So let's do our 360, and let's subtract out these two, 162 and 92. And that leaves me with 106. So that means this arc right here is 106 degrees. So if that arc's 106, I can take, I'm going from big to small, so I can take half of this, and that means that this little arc is 53. That little angle, I should say. I keep saying arc. It's an angle. So now I can set these two equal to each other. So I got 7x minus 10 equals 53. If I add 10, that gives me 63. And I divide by 7, I get 9er. Alrighty. Let's see here. Well, on this one, they want us to figure out the arc. So how are we going to do that? Well, here's what we're going to do. I see this. That's a hint to go to that. So if this angle is 67, see I said it right that time, I double it because I'm going from small to big. I double that. 167 doubled is 134. 134 degrees. So now I can start with 360. I'm going to subtract out the two arcs that they gave me, the 120 and the 134. When I subtract those out, I get, I don't have that one. That was the answer to the last one. So, glare from the light. There we go. How about that? 360 minus 120 minus, my production quality is low today. 134, 106. Okay. So that means that this arc over here is 106. So they wanted the arc. The arc is 106. I can set those equal to each other. So if I subtract my 21, I get 85. If I divide by 5, get 17. Oops. 17. So those are all algebra problems. The next ones are geometry problems because I got to do the algebra to plug it in to find the value of something. So let's do that. So measure FGH. So I like to use colors. FGH. So that's this angle is 6x plus 21. So that's this angle right there. And then they tell me FJ arc. Oh, they give me this arc. So they're being nice. They give me this arc is 17x minus 28. So the question is, or the thing is, I cannot set them equal to each other because remember, when I go from big to small, I take half, or when I go from small to big, I double. So I'm going to have to choose one of those things to either double or take half of. So in this case, let's just 17x. Let's just double this. So I'm going to leave 17x minus 28 the same. But technically what I have to do is I have to double. I have to times this by 2 to get to that one. So that gives me 12x plus 42. This gives me 17x minus 28. And now we just got to solve. So if I subtract 12x, that gives me 5x. If I add 28 over, it gives me 70. If I divide by 5, it gives me 14. But in this, they want you to find this arc, FJH. Find FJH, the arc. So I got to plug it in. So the measure of FJH is 17 times 14 minus 28. And that gives me 210 degrees. Okay. All right, next one. We got 3 left. STU. They give me the angle. The angle's right there. So that's 5x minus 16. Okay. Right there. Boink. Okay. And then SU. They give me the intercepted arc, which is nice. That's nice of them. 12x minus 50. Okay. So again, I cannot set them equal to each other. I either got to double this or take half of this. Let's just stick with the doubling. We doubled this one, so let's double this one. So I'm going to leave 12x minus 50 the same, but I got to double this angle. Remember, you times it by 2. So 2 times 5x is 10x minus 32 equals. Okay. So again, I got to subtract. I'll subtract 10x over here to give me 2x, which means I'm going to add 50 over here. Just going to give me 18. Divide by 2. X is 9. Okay. But they don't want that. They want STU. They want STU. STU's red. So I'm going to do the red part. 5x minus 16. 5 times 9 minus 16. 5 times 9 minus 16 is 29 degrees. Lots of blurriness. Okay. 2 more. This is a long one. Here we go. Oh, got intercepting arcs. I got there's probably going to be a congruent one here. So ABD. ABD. So they give me that is 6x plus 26. So that's that right there. That's that angle. And then they tell me arc, ACD. ACD. So then going around this way. They give me that arc. is 13 minus 9. 13x minus 9, sorry. And they want AD. They want this part. Okay. So what are we going to do on that one? I know that if I double this, that'll give me that. I don't have any angle on there. So 6x plus 26 equals 13x minus 9. Just thinking of a good way to explain this one. Let's see here. I'll have to explain this one in class. This one might take a little bit of explanation. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. I'm kind of stumped right now on a good way to explain it. But on this one, we're just going to set them equal to each other. It's just not really going to make sense right now. But anyway, when I subtract, that gives me 7x. If I add 9, it gives me 35. So x equals 5. I'm going to plug that in for ABD. So I'm going to plug it into this one. 6 times 5 plus 26 equals 56. Okay. Alrighty. So let's look at this one. So KJL, angle KJL. So that's this angle right here. That's red. And the measure angle KLJ. That's this angle. Okay. And they want arc KL. Okay. So when I look at this one though, I know, this one's kind of tricky too, but I know that the red intercepted arc, so here's my red, its intercepted arc is right here, and I know the purple, right there's the purple, its intercepted arc is right there. So combined, their intercepted arcs make 180. Okay, so that's the big circle. So what it's saying is, if I take this red angle and I add it to the purple angle right there, it should equal a half circle. But remember, when I go from big to small, I have to take half. So it's not going to equal 180, it's going to equal 90. So let's combine like terms. That gives me 10x. Here I'm going to combine like terms. That's going to give me negative 30. Add my 30, it gives me 120. Divide by 10, it gives me 12. And then they want you to plug back in for KJL, which is the first one, which is the red one. So I'll make it red for you. They want the red part. So 3 times 12 plus 2. I'm just plugging in right here. Plugging the x in there. 3 times 12 is 36 plus 2. So the measure of KJL is 38 degrees. Okay, That's the angle. But now they want the arc, KL. So if I know this is 38, okay, I know the little part's 38. Ultimately, they wanted this arc. So I got to go from small to big, so that means I got to double it. So I'm going to double this. So the arc, KL, is 76 degrees. That's it, doubled. Whew, those were pretty tough. Okay, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.